In this channel, I speak about faith, lifestyle, youthfulness, and self-development. Please, guys, I need your support. Help me to subscribe, share my videos, comment, like, because I'm aiming to reach at 500 subscribers by June. So thank you for those who have already subscribed, and I'm so glad that you keep. Hello guys, you're welcome back to my channel. My name is Ashay Rhoda, aka Ashda, and in this channel I film about faith, lifestyle, youthfulness, and self-development. Today guys, I'll be sharing with you my personal experiences with regards to culture shock living in Russia. I've actually lived in Russia for 2.5 years, and I think I have, some level of experience to talk about my culture shock. So let's get right into it. Okay, so for me, first and foremost, culture shock which I experienced is the way Russians actually welcome people into their homes. I'll try to compare it with where I'm coming from. Like in Africa, especially, people when you visit somebody, like they welcome you by asking you, oh, can I give you water? After maybe you've sat down in the house, you're welcome, and can I offer you water or something? Yeah, you can accept and every other thing. But in Russia, that's a different case, because you actually be offered tea, and it doesn't really matter what time of the year it is, because in case it is in winter, you can understand that, oh, it's because it's cold outside and they want to keep you warm. But like, it's always a habit. Like even in summer, you find yourself that you're being provided with especially hot tea. And one, I don't know if I can say it's cool or it's it's not cool, is that like when you're offered tea, if you're not careful, you might leave the house with after taking a lot of cups of tea. So one secret from Rhoda is this: please, if you visit somebody and you're not ready to keep your stomach so full with water or tea, please just be sipping in the tea gradually, because the more they've had. So one other thing which is special about Russian serving tea is that when you are served tea and maybe you, the visitor, quickly drinks it up, remember this, that another filled, and the process continues and continues. As fast as you take the tea, that's how much they'll keep adding. And so if you want to, be careful and save yourself, this is a secret from Rhoda. Please just be sipping the tea gradually, so that by the time you are leaving, you might have maybe some leftover tea. At least you will not be refilled again, because sometimes you might leave the house which you visited having drank about 6 to 10 cups of tea, and yeah, that's a little bit crazy. The second thing about my culture shock had to do with the language. I know I've mentioned before in my other videos about the language and everything, but this language aspect I'm talking about is the fact that the language is not really it's really everywhere. Like, I remember my first day when I came to Russia, I was at the airport in Moscow, and everyone around me just spoke about, Russian. And for me, it was quite crazy, because I expected that it is an international airport and there should be people who are able to speak in English at least. But that wasn't there. Like, I really felt stranded, and I couldn't talk to anybody. But thanks to this man from Norway which I met, and he was the only one who could keep me company, because I spent about 4 hours at the airport and just sitting, me, my phone, and I. Yeah, so it was really bad. I'm not saying that necessarily I needed to talk to somebody, but in case I needed the toilet, how do I get there? Because except maybe now it has changed, but by then probably everything is written in Russian, and I didn't know a dime of Russian. Yeah, so that's it for me. The language is everywhere, like in church, at school, everywhere you go to, like, just the language. And I'm grateful that I haven't forgotten English up to now, because I used to feel like, had it been I didn't communicate with my family members or friends back home in English, probably I should have forgotten English by now. Okay, So the next aspect about my culture shock is that I was quite surprised that that up to this age there are still some people who haven't seen blacks. Let me put it that way, especially a black who is as dark as I am. Okay, yeah. So I noticed, yeah, maybe in Moscow, in the capital cities, like it wasn't really bad. But I also noticed that at the airport, I was being, that kind of I was looked upon like in a certain way, and sometimes I felt shy, I felt uncomfortable. The worst of it came when I came to my city here in Toms, like it's a far city in Siberia, and I was quite shocked because sometimes you see people and the way they look at you, especially children. Yeah, I can understand that for children, it's really, really, something new for them and they tend to look at you. But sometimes even adults look at you in that kind of a way, and it's so weird for me to, sometimes I felt really bad. And at some point, I didn't want, when we have like, public holidays and people are celebrating, they go to the park and enjoy. I personally, I had to stop doing that because each time I go to the park, like I will feel really uncomfortable, or people will rush up to you asking you questions, so can I take photos with you? And I couldn't really enjoy my leisure time when I went to the park because the way people made me feel uncomfortable and all that. So I had to actually stop. And another thing with regards to these looks and people not understanding or knowing that maybe probably they existed blacks was that there was this day I was walking somewhere in a certain shop, and there was this man who actually embarrassed me. I was so embarrassed that day. He walked up to me and he was like, "Oh, look at your skin color and look at mine." And I was like, I just smiled at him. Then he now continued. Then I thought to myself, like, is this racism or something else? You get. So yeah, that was really a very bad experience I had. And another time they'll ask you, "Oh, Africa is so hot, is that why you are so dark because of Africa?" And I'm like, no. So it made a point, like it came to a point like I had to always explain myself that, oh, being black is not actually because of the sun. Yeah, the sun can make you a little bit dark, but this skin color is not actually because of sun but melanin and everything. And you keep explaining over and over and over and over. So that's it for me. I was actually so shocked and sometimes pissed off because of such questions. The next thing which I'll talk about is the aspect of greetings. And unlike, in Africa where you see people, or not only in Africa, but unlike in different countries where you meet even someone you don't really know, but you tend to greet that person, here it's not like that. And it even gets to the point where even if you greet someone which you know, like for instance my teacher in school, and I meet the teacher out of school and I greet, like I'll just be ignored. And it was kind of really weird for me to see that kind of behavior from people, but I just came to understand and accept that no, it's just their culture like that. This also is a little bit linked to the next aspect of my culture shock, which is the aspect of smiling. I feel like maybe Africans in general, or maybe other countries, are more prone to, smiling at people when greeting and stuff like that. But here in Russia, it's not like that. And like I said, even if you smile at someone, they'll just look at you as if you are not okay in your head. And it was actually quite weird for me. Like, for instance, there was a day I went out and I saw my classmates and I greeted them. Like, they behaved as if they didn't see me, talk less of smiling. Like, if you just smile, especially in public, people would look at you as if you are not okay in your head. And it was actually one of my greatest culture shocks. Yeah. Another thing is the aspect of the weather. I know I've spoken in another video about the weather, but this is a little bit different considering the fact that I'm talking about the weather in the sense that we have, like, especially in summer, we have just about 3 to 4 hours of night time. So from maybe sun rises from about 3 or 4 a.m. in the morning and it sets at 12 midnight. So it was actually quite weird for me because you can definitely work the whole day, walk through without even knowing that, oh, it's like this is 9 p.m. because everywhere is so bright. And the complete opposite happens in winter. Like in winter, sun rises at around 9 a.m. and before it is 4 p.m., sun is already setting. And so that's it for me. Those are my culture shocks which I noticed here. And I hope that you can also share your own story with me. Probably you're in another country. You can share with me your culture shock which you noticed, and I'll be glad to listen and also comment. Thank you for watching, and please do subscribe.